This week we're really going to focus on our e-portfolios. And that's what our sole focus is going to be this week, week 7, and next week for week 8. And like I said, we're doing this in lieu of a midterm or a final exam. But I do hope that this is a document you create now for purpose of showing how to strategically present yourself and the work you've done for clients, that you use it for job seeking purposes, and as you progress in your careers, that you use it to show your development and as a showcase piece. So I'm hoping this is just the very beginning of your work and attention toward this portfolio. So this week there are no formal readings. I do have a lecture available for you, one on meetings. It's really quick. It goes through chapter 17 of our textbook. Many of you are doing internships now or have in the past, and some of you are full-time employees. So you might relate to the fact that meetings are rampant in organizations, and a lot of times they're really ineffective. So I spent some time helping you to decide when to call meetings and how to facilitate a successful meeting. The other lecture is specifically on electronic portfolios. You'll see in that lecture I make a reference to a couple links to different types of portfolios. Those are available to you in the task document that accompanies Module 7, Week 7. So look at those. I really want you to spend time listening to that e-portfolio lecture because they give you some do's and don'ts, and that is not only from my own experience, but from the experience I've had with students in this class over the past several years. This week, you're going to submit 2 documents by Sunday at 11:59. The first is going to be a working site map. I referenced this last week in our weekly overview video. In the chance you wanted to start working on it earlier than later. I don't want this to scare you. It's just essentially a visual representation of how you're going to organize your e-portfolio. So the way in which it'll be navigated, I want you to acknowledge on there where I'm going to find what documents, so you can start thinking about organization, and I can give you any pointers at this point if necessary. It's going to help you to figure out where to put your introductory text, your resume, client tactics, client information. And the overall goal of this assignment is 1, streamline the creation of your e-portfolio, and 2, to prompt you to consider how others, such as hiring managers, are going to navigate your page in order to most easily access the information. Right? So this isn't a busy work assignment. This isn't just so you can earn a few more points, but I'm seeing this as a very mindful, strategic assignment and helping you to build a very thoughtful, intentional electronic portfolio. You'll see that the other task this week is I want you to create a resume if you don't already have one, or I want you to update and review your existing resume. You will submit this document into Dropbox at the end of the week. And again, the reason for this is because I'm going to expect it to be displayed on your electronic portfolio next week. As I noted in last week's weekly overview, if you have a chance, if you're on campus right now, please go see Career Services, make an appointment. They will go over your resume, and like I said, even if you don't want design suggestions, having people there to make sure that there are no typos, no grammatical errors, anything that you inadvertently overlooked, right? That in itself is worth the meeting time. And even if you don't get a chance to go, if you're working remotely on this class, if you're here in the fall or in the spring, make an appointment, go see them. There's no cost. It's already part of your tuition dollars. And in my experience, it's been a pretty good service for students. Finally, if you haven't already, I really encourage you at this point to select a site you'd like to use for your electronic portfolio. I've recommended in the past WordPress.com or Wix.com, Wix.com. Neither of these has a fee associated with using it for what we need in class. If you want to customize more in the future, if you want to be able to even customize the URL to reflect your own name. Those are things that have a small fee attached to, but again, last semester when I was working with students, it was $11 annually. So I believe something that all of you would be able to swing. So, well, you're not going to submit your URL to me until next week. I want you to keep in mind that week 8 is a short week, and so that means that you don't have as much time as you're used to. And also, creating the electronic portfolio tends to be fairly time consuming. You have to figure out how to format it stylistically to reflect how you want to present yourself now and in the future, and also thinking about how to upload and organize the documents you created for the purposes of this class. You'll need some signpost and navigational information, so there you'll be writing some paragraphs about what readers can expect, introducing them to the tactics, letting them know what the goals and the objectives were, where they can find your resume, how they can reach out to you if they have more information. So start thinking about that now. I also want to remind you there are a large amount of points in this class are attached to the ePortfolio. So while you don't formally submit anything to me this week, I cannot stress how important it is to start looking at which site you're going to use to host your portfolio, and maybe even doing some initial work this week as well. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me.